just people who are willing to deal with a director who is just like, now you do this, and you move over there, and nobody look at the big picture until 2 days before we go up. Okay. Yeah, that was definitely a fun part of this. You can ask them about that if you want to know more. Yeah, other than that, I'm really just interested to see what you guys got from it and hear what kind of questions you have. Yes?
Can you talk to us about the process of creating your own role as an actor in this story?
Yeah, that was definitely a really tricky thing for me to do. I would say that might have been the hardest part of like writing the script actually, was because I had all of these scenes for the father character and like the characters in the army, but then for me I just kept sitting down and being like, okay, how do I actually like depict myself? What exactly do I want to show? So what ended up happening was I kind of had these lessons or these moments of things that like I had come to terms with on my own as a person. And then I was able to kind of like plot down and be like, all right, which character within the world of my show, of my play, would be able to like have this interaction where I learn this. And also the character of Magenta definitely helped a lot with like creating my role. She's, for clarification, she's kind of like an imaginary friend type figure, so like depicting an internal thing that is only visible to one audience member definitely helped me, or to one cast member, definitely helped me like take different places.
Now, were these white-faced demon things visible to only you two, or
yes,
other members of the cast?
Well, I mean, he gets attacked by them at the end, but for the rest of the show, it's just me and her.
Are they meant to be portrayed as like psychological demons or physical manifestations of?
Yes.
That's the question, isn't it?
They definitely represent like kind of more psychological nightmares that I used to have as a child. I would get nightmares a lot and like night terrors and stuff. And so they kind of represent that, but at the same time, these larger societal issues that me as a person would like come into contact with and then be like, there's no room for me to do anything with this. I'm stuck. They kind of take on both of those. So they're psychological and physical at the same time. Yeah.
Say that louder, we didn't hear you.
That's when Magenta would, like, I guess, come and help him.
No, it's, yeah, I mean, like I said, she kind of represents these moments when I was like taught things, and the nightmares are kind of these other moments where I can't understand maybe like a lesson that's supposedly being taught or something. Hey, other cast members. Sorry. It's okay. Yeah, other questions? Good.
As far as writing the scenes of your father on base, how was that process for you? Because I imagine that you probably weren't all that in the know prior, and like trying to depict that from your perspective, like, and how emotionally was that for you? Just like that's a strong thing to take on, like a strong thing to try and show people that don't necessarily know that side of your father, and maybe you don't even know. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is by no means an accurate representation of what goes down at a military base. Disclaimer. But what I had to work with and like where I got a lot of my sources from, I'll pull it out, was, it's not the big one. It was this.
That was a big inspiration. I was there.
Yes. This was actually my father's notebook that he kept when he was stationed on base in Korea. So there are actually two monologues that Ihor was reading
Mhm.
that are just lifted word for word from this. Because this was such a like, I mean, I know as a writer, me going in to try and depict like the feelings accurately of someone who's been sent away to war in Korea and like sees that stuff on a daily basis, I'm not even gonna try and pretend like I can accurately depict that. But what I had were these, and these also like informed a lot of just like the general language that my father character used throughout the play, and a lot of the like lessons I say that he is experiencing through this are kind of like what I draw from for a lot of like his character changes over time. If that makes sense.
What are your biggest fears? I guess what were your biggest fears in like writing a play? Or in other words, like what are some pitfalls that an aspiring playwright can fall victim to?
I would say the biggest pitfall that I encountered, and also frequently see like aspiring playwrights making, is that they just throw in too many words. There were many, many times, including today, half an hour before the show, when I would go back with a cast member and be like, you know what, this is so wordy, and I can reduce this to 2 words. So I'm just gonna do that, because it makes your life easier, it conveys it to the audience more clearly than if someone's standing up here being like, well, this happened, and I bent my arm at a 45-degree angle, and then again, just to be like, I did a curl. It's just an alternate way of doing that actually still depicts the same message. And if you make it too wordy, everyone's just going to space out. So that was definitely a big one.
Well, some clarity. Like, I know one of the big things that Ame says is like trying to get what's in your head out onto the page, and then also like trying to figure out, you know, what sounds maybe wordier in your head, and then how it is on the page can come out like a lot in that way.
Right. And this is also like the first time that, tonight was the first time I've ever seen this performed in front of a live audience. So, that's kind of like, as people read the script more, you hear more things that you're like, okay, that needs to be tweaked. So that's part of this process, yeah.
How do you feel it turned out?
I'm in such a state of shock. I have a play, I did a run, I have a cast, I have a thesis, question mark. I feel really great about it, honestly. It definitely let me see a lot of like, specifically where I want this to go, where I can take it, what things need to be toned down a little, if any, what needs to be amped up. As well as just realizing that I have an hour and a half's worth of material. That was probably the craziest thing in the world. But yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys so much. Tell your friends, we got 2 more days.